Amazon stock is blasting to the upside, carrying the entire market higher. In this video, we're going to talk about why Amazon is booming up, the potential opportunity associated with it, and why gun stocks are also on the rise, and some very important things to know. We have a lot of great content in today's video. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure to stick around to the end. But Tom, we're not wasting any time. So what's going on in this crazy market?
Yeah, it's been crazy to say the least, but hey, Amazon had a great day. They're up 4.4% with all this split news, Mike. So on Friday, they actually had some pretty good split news around the end of the day that we'll get into in a second. But as we know, that split's going to be coming up here on June 6th. But you can see their stock is flying up 4.4%. It had a lot of momentum and it really continued up for most of the day. But that split's going to be coming up on June 6th. It's a 20-for-1 split. So pretty much if you own one share of Amazon right now, you will get an additional 19 shares after this split happens. Keep in mind, though, this is not going to affect the company's valuation or anything like that. But a couple other stocks like Tesla and Apple have also had some splits over the past couple of years. So you can see that Tesla was kind of like rising up into their split. And then once the split actually happened, they started falling back off to the downside. Same thing actually happened with Apple during their split. So with Apple, pretty much, Mike, they were actually exploding quite heftily into that split there in the past. But obviously, there was a couple splits on Apple. The main one was the one back here. It looks like on August 31st of 2020, they ended up really popping up. And then really, honestly, Mike, this is kind of like an after, like one of those buy the rumor, sell the news type of events where we had a bit of like a crash back down right after that split. So just keep in mind, guys, with Amazon here, it does seem like it's running up into the split, but always be careful. You know, in the past, some of these stocks have gotten pretty volatile, at least after the split.
Exactly. So long story short, Amazon is having a stock split soon on June 6th, to be exact. The share price will be divided by 20 because it is a 20-for-1 stock split. So let's say Amazon is right around $2,400, which it's at right now. You divide that by 20, that'll make Amazon stock go from $2,400 all the way down to $120. But don't freak out, because what's going to happen is there will be 20 times more shares outstanding. So the valuation will stay exactly the same. When we see stock splits, we have a lot of hype associated with them because people just like to buy into them for some reason. It's just kind of speculation and hype. But nonetheless, Amazon stock is booming and it's having a great influence on the market overall.
Yeah, it is. You know, the SPY ended up holding up quite well today. I will say some of these growth stocks were down in a big way. I also noticed that some of the tech stocks like AMD, Nvidia, and a couple other stocks like that were pretty shaky throughout the day. But we did have a lot of other stocks, for example, like Netflix going up, Rivian. I noticed Disney was actually up in the green, believe it or not. So we did have some stocks flying up. Of course, Amazon played the biggest role there, Mike. And they actually have a lot of news right now because on Friday, they actually had the split. I guess technically it finally got approved by the shareholders. So keep that in mind. That happened on late Friday. That's kind of why I think they started popping up like 4.4% today. But you can see that even last week, Amazon was on quite the uptrend. So yeah, it really did kind of bleed over there into some other parts of the market. I saw that like Starbucks was up. FedEx was up too, but it was kind of a brutal day for growth stocks, Mike. I know DraftKings and a couple of our favorites were kind of down in the red. I noticed Chewy was kind of selling off ahead of earnings too.
Yep, true that. So different areas of the market did differently today, Tom, but these gun stocks have been holding up surprisingly well. And I know that there's a lot of news related to like gun reform right now and all types of that stuff. So why are these stocks popping?
Yeah, they're starting to come up in some pretty big ways. And as we know, there was kind of those very unfortunate situations over the past couple of weeks. We had a couple different shootings. The really bad one was obviously like Uvalde, and that was just a really bad situation overall. You know, you can see here it ended up having 19 children killed and 2 teachers at an elementary school there. So it was just a really bad situation down there in Texas. And, you know, of course, anytime anything bad like this happens, it's a really bad situation. It came 10 days after there was another one at a supermarket And the big thing is that Democrats are looking to actually impose some restrictions here. So there's a couple different acts going through Congress right now. The Raise the Age Act is going to limit the purchasing age for semi-automatic rifles from 18 years old to 21 years old, while the Keep Americans Safe Act would pretty much bar large capacity magazines. Now, I don't know what they're going to consider large capacity, maybe anything over 10 rounds, anything over 20 rounds or 30 rounds. I have no idea what they're talking about exactly with that. But in the end, it looks like we're going to see some restrictions come out of this. And Mike, I will say, like the raising the age thing from 18 to 21 kind of makes sense because you do have to be 21 in most states anyways to buy handguns. So that does make some sense. But the thing on large capacity magazines and everything like that, I don't know if I like to see it too much, but either way, it causes these gun stocks to go crazy because pretty much before these bans happen, people want to get their hands on these things. So, like if they come out that they're going to ban large capacity magazines, people are going to buy up as many large capacity magazines as they can before that ban happens. Same thing maybe with semi-automatic rifles and other issues like that. So usually these gun stocks end up doing pretty well. And, ever since these unfortunate situations, the gun stocks have been kind of popping back up here, Mike. And I did notice like SWBI has bounced off a huge support recently, and RGR is at a pretty good buying point too.
Exactly. So RGR is Ruger, and then SWBI is Smith and Wesson. Tom basically said everything that needs to be said. People fear that if these, like for example, high capacity magazines do get banned, everyone's going to go buy them as soon as possible. So that's why you see stocks popping like they are. So it's interesting. Obviously, any type of catalyst that we have going on in the world, especially related to gun reform, that can definitely move stocks, just like we saw.
Yeah, it definitely can. There's even a few other gun stocks here. I have a pretty good article actually by investorplace.com from actually, I think last May, but either way, it kind of goes over some of these big gun stocks here. So you can see there's Smith and Wesson with us, SWBI. We have Ruger with RGR. Olin Corporation is OLN. Ammo Inc. is going to be POWW. Vista Outdoors, VSTO. You guys can screenshot this if you want to. There's some of the gun stocks. There's honestly not too many gun stocks on the market. I kind of realized looking into this, Mike, that a lot of the gun manufacturers have a lot of different influences overseas and stuff like that. A lot of them are in foreign markets, believe it or not. So at least we have a couple, though, with SWBI and RGR.
Gotcha. All right, Tom. Well, what's on the schedule for the rest of this week, especially with earnings?
Yeah, so earnings, we've had some pretty big ones already this week. So, tonight, ChargePoint, HP, Victoria's Secret has some pretty big ones. CRM's coming out. Tomorrow, we're going to have GameStop, Chewy, HPE, Hewlett Packard Enterprises, and AI. So tomorrow's going to be pretty big, Mike. GameStop and Chewy. We're kind of all over the place today. I saw Chewy was falling down in a pretty big way, unfortunately. AI did pretty decent. I know that CrowdStrike is reporting on Thursday there with Lulu and Asana. So overall, I think it's going to still be a pretty big week with earnings, Mike. But, tonight we did have some pretty decent ones here with CRM and a couple others. And looks like so far they're doing pretty decent.
There we go. All right, Tom. Well, do you have any favorite setups or anything you're watching for tomorrow?
Yeah, I did notice today, Mike, that a lot of these China stocks started gapping up this morning. Then they slowly just kind of traded down. So I'm going to really keep my eyes on stocks like Baba, Neo, XPEV, and a couple other China stocks. Neo actually did very well today, up 4.9%, went up pretty much all throughout the day. And pretty much they ended up consolidating up there, Mike. But that gap up early in the morning was where that main move came from. You can see on the max daily chart, like Neo is still extremely low, along with Baba and a lot of these other stocks. And I'm really kind of glad that Baba is breaking out along this trend line here. Maybe we'll finally see a nice uptrend out of them. It's been a long time since we've seen a significant uptrend.
Very true. Before we move on, I just want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, Keisha. Thank you so much, Keisha, for being a great member of Stocked Up. Thank you so much for all the support, especially on the live streams in the morning. Again, huge shout out to Keisha. And Tom, let's get right into these momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have Neo to the upside.
Yeah, good old NIO. Go ahead and make them break out above $18 tomorrow.
And with the next one, we have Spotify also to the upside.
Yeah, go ahead and make them break 116.
All right, and with the last one, we have Roblox, but to the downside.
Yeah, Roblox, Mike. This is a little bit unfortunate. I would have liked to see the growth stocks and Roblox do a little bit better here, but go ahead and make them break below 29.45.
All right, so we are watching Roblox for a potential day trade to the downside tomorrow, only if it breaks below the level Tom listed. And then we are watching Neo and Spotify for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. Also, I want to say if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, I think we're set for a pretty exciting week. Stocks blasted up over the past week after weeks of constant brutal selling pressure, and now we're at a point where some stocks are in the middle of a pop back up. Some stocks are doing better than others, but we have a short trading week, and I think we're set for a pretty good week.
Yeah, me too. Even though there were some growth stocks that fell down today, like DraftKings, like I have up here on the charts, and a couple other ones like Square, I still feel like that they're still doing fairly well, and they didn't necessarily fall below any like key levels or anything. So I do think that these growth stocks still can continue up maybe for the rest of the week here and maybe start to recover. I will say, Mike, it seems like some of these value plays today did a lot better. Starbucks had a really good day, up like 2.3%. They just had an amazing day overall. FedEx was moving today as well. So, it seems like some of those slower movers are starting to kind of pop back up again. Caterpillar just kind of consolidated along with Walmart here. They didn't really have too much movement, but as we know, they're slow and steady, and hey, at least they're kind of pointing up. So it seems like that's the area of the market that has been doing quite well lately, Mike. It seems like I know that a lot of them have been pulling back, like Walmart and others, but when you look at like McDonald's, for example, I mean, they've been like roaring back to life.
Yeah, there we go. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let us know what stocks you are watching in the comments down below, and let's have a great rest of the week.